What's Zod's first name?
General. I don't actually know. I don't know.
Specific Zod.
There have been other Zods and they get names, but I don't know what General Zod's first name is.
This guy's just kind of, like a General Zod kind of guy.
He's your average Zod. Oh, so like a fucking raging
just
freak.
Just a Zod in general.
That's how you describe people. That's how Kryptonians describe people when they're like by the water cooler gossiping. They're like, oh, so what's the new guy like?
This dude's a total fucking Zod.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pacific Standard, guys. My name is Carter Briggs, and with me, as always, are my two co-hosts, Mason Winter.
Hello.
And Abel Stoika.
Dun, 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 dun.
As usual, Abel has given us a lovely rendition of the score for this movie, and the movie we're talking about this week is Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
I did a shitty half-assed rendition in theme of this movie.
Hey, whose turn is it to say what happened?
Not me. I did it last week.
Ugh. Mason, is between me and you.
Not it.
No, let's rock, paper, scissors for it. Just on 3, call out what you're throwing, okay?
That's not... It doesn't work.
I will do it if you guys do not want to.
No, I'll do it. Fuck! Okay. We open on the planet of Krypton, and it's fucked. It's pretty fucked. The leaders, they're like, we don't want to fix the planet. We think it's fine. Climate change doesn't exist. And then Jor-El is like, hey, dude, fucking, we're gonna die. And then General Zod shows up, and he's like, I think the same thing as Jor-El, except I'm taking action about it. And he kills a bunch of the council members, but not all of them. And there's a big battle on Krypton because he's doing a coup. He's doing a coup. And action sequence ensues. Zack Snyder action sequence ensues. And it does look pretty good, I must admit. And Jor-El steals a codex, which is a skull, a tiny skull, that has all the DNA of every Kryptonian baby that will ever be born, I guess. And he has a son who's Jesus. He has a kid, and that kid is Jesus, because he's the first natural-born Kryptonian in centuries. And they're like, we got to get him off this dying planet. We have to evacuate Jesus. So he puts all the DNA into baby Jesus, and he sends him off to space. And then Jor-El gets killed by Zod right after he sends off baby Jesus. And then Zod gets arrested and put in the Phantom Zone, which is just like a weird dimension. It's not like a glass thing. It's like a weird dimension. And then baby Jesus, also known as Kal-El, also known as Clark Kent, also known as Superman, lands in Kansas, and he's raised by Kevin Costner. And the movie progresses, and it's Clark Kent in his early 30s, running between being a lobsterman and a fucking and a diner worker, and then he works at a secret base in the Arctic. And all those are intercut with flashbacks to him being raised by Kevin Costner. And then they find a spaceship, and it's a Kryptonian colony spaceship, because Kryptonians used to be an empire, and this spaceship was there 18,000 years ago. It was on Earth, and it got frozen underneath sheets and sheets of ice. And Clark, he sneaks onto the ship, and he learns that he's baby Jesus, and he meets an AI representation of his father. Not his mother, though. Jor-El only made him. He did not make the mom. He only made him. Because fuck that, I guess.
Kryptonian society was pretty patriarchal, I guess.
And he meets, it seems like it, he meets Lois Lane, who's a reporter, and she's a good reporter. She, like, follows him, and she like, takes the military off guard because they're digging in the ice, and she wants to know what's up. And Clark saves her from a robot that she was taking pictures of instead of running from. And she meets him, And then the next part of the movie, Clark takes the ship and he flies off with it, and the government doesn't follow. They're just like, well, it's gone now. And Lois writes a story, and she tracks down Clark. She figures out that who Clark Kent is, and that he's Superman, but he's not Superman yet because he's just learning to fly, and he got his cool Kryptonian outfit that's kind of red and blue, but it's really dark and not saturated at all. And then Zod shows up.
There's no trunks.
There's no trunks. And then Zod shows up, and he's like, hey, dicks, I'm going to take over your planet and terraform it into Krypton, which doesn't make any sense, because why would you terraform a world if you're a god on that world? Why wouldn't you just take it over? That part of his plan doesn't really make any sense.
Because he doesn't want to figure out how to adapt his senses, even though he figures it out by the end of the movie.
He figures out in like 2 minutes. It takes him 2 minutes to figure it the fuck out. Like, whatever.
It's kind of like a Mary Sue for that, you know?
General Zod is a Mary Sue. I'm going to be real. General Zod is a Mary Sue. Superman is less of a Mary Sue in this movie, and Zod is definitely a Mary Sue in this movie. But that's not what. But then Zod has there's a big fight, and another Zack Snyder action sequence that takes up a long time, and it does look good, and it is interesting, and they do interesting things with Superman's powers and Kryptonian technology. It actually is a good. There's like 3 major action sequences. There's like 5, and then Clark, in order to save a family from Zod, snaps his fucking neck, which people think is the thing that isn't very Superman about this movie, but they're wrong. That's very Superman. Superman doesn't actually have the same hang-ups as Batman. He totally would snap Zod's neck. He just would rather not. But yeah, and then the movie ends. And then, the movie doesn't end. Clark Kent then becomes a reporter at the Daily Planet with no journalism degree or like prior employment, but whatever. And then him and Lois Lane are definitely dating.
All of his prior work experience is like blue collar stuff, and it's under fake identities. So how? I don't know.
It's fine. It's
Carter and I both have communications degrees, and it's hard to find work.
What are you talking about?
Stuff like that.
You're saying
with
we couldn't? We couldn't just become reporters at the New York Times tomorrow, even though we have the degree for it. And experience? The answer is no. I tried.
Maybe I just haven't been trying hard enough.
Yeah. Anyway, then the movie ends.
I haven't been writing cover letters with ChatGPT enough.
I'm starting. I am very anti-AI, and I started using AI to do my resumes. Because AI is what's reading the resume, so if you type into AI, hey, do my resume in a way that AI will like it, with keywords, they'll do it, and then more AIs pick up your resume. But whatever. That's what happens in the movie. I want to make this clear to listeners. I have gripes with this movie. But I don't have too many gripes. I actually think this movie's decent. But before
Mason, what did you think?
Yeah, Mason, you talk.
I like this movie.
Fair.
This was like my introduction to Superman. And although I don't like Superman necessarily as a character, I like this movie. I don't think it's terrible.
Mason?
I don't think it's great.
Can I? Okay. You say what you think about the movie, and then I'm going to jump in, because something you said is my problem with the movie. So please, tell us what you liked and didn't like about the movie.
3 of my notes are basically one conversation I wanted to have about some of the changes between this and the first Superman movie we watched.
There's a lot of changes.
Maybe save those. Yeah, there's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
And then I have one quote written down, so I obviously wanted to save that.
Okay.
The only other note I have says Baby Penis Part 2. Did we see Clark's penis in this as well?
Yes, we did. We saw his penis when he was a baby. We did.
Okay, why?
I don't know. Okay, it's a
And the ship
Superman
is
requirement.
shaped like a penis that he's in.
It is shaped like a penis.
All of the Zod people get shipped off into.
That's a stretch.
They have balls. There's balls.
Sex
and big
toy I'll
shaft
take,
and
but
a head.
like that.
Can I go? Okay, Abel, do you have anything to say before I go into a huge Superman / Zack Snyder rant?
I really don't like the non-linear storytelling. I felt like it wasn't that important, and I think it would have been better if it was just chronological.
See, I
Maybe that's
actually,
just because I like the original Superman movie better. I did have I don't know. It just took fucking forever.
I will bring up the interesting point that you had the opposite opinion, and I'll agree it's a slightly different case, but you had the opposite opinion when it came to Daredevil. You were like, I didn't like the long intro story as opposed to like a couple flashbacks throughout.
I also, I'm gonna disagree with you on this one. I think that is a better way to do the Superman origin if you're doing a Superman origin movie in the modern day. Personally,
I think I just preferred the origin story in the 78 Superman to this. I don't really like how him and like Lois meet each other, and like just in contrast to the 78 movie, that felt so much more fun and like
hard disagree.
Comic booky, you know?
I think this is literally
Abel, I literally think you have the exact opposite like likes and dislikes between the two versions that I have, and that it sounds like Mason has. Genuinely, Lois Lane is actually a character who comes off as a reporter in this movie. Like, Lois Lane in the 70s version is a fucking moron. Like, as much as, like, I think the actress did an amazing
like a comic
job.
book movie, you know?
Right, but, like, you can make them better, right? And you can have, like, the love interest character not be a fucking moron and actually have, like, a point to being in the story other than being a damsel in distress. It's a comic book movie, but it still should, like, tell a story. Saying it's a comic book movie and I like when it's bad is, like, shitty. I think it's a shitty cold take. No offense, Abel, because, like...
Well, I thought it was... I just liked how...
It's
like,
kind of a
gets a job
of the
there.
comic genre.
He gets a job at the Daily Planet, and then he has to balance, like, I'm Superman, and she has a huge crush on Superman, but she doesn't care for me, Clark Kent, that much. I thought that was a fun dynamic, and in this, like, I don't know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Wait. Like, at the end, when, like...
Wait, just to be clear... I don't want to interrupt you, but just to be clear, the thing I called last week yucky and toxic, that's the thing you're missing in this movie? Just to be clear?
Well, it's just different, you know? Like, I don't know. I felt like so much of this was just way more, like, overly serious. And it's not like it's all, like, not warranted or whatever, but just, like, the fucking color grading is just gross. And it's just so over the top, like, gritty. And
Can I offer an alternative to... I don't think you actually like the Lois Lane Superman relationship better. I think you like the Superman better. I think you like the tone of that movie better. And so your brain points to a difference in it. You go, that's the fault of this. I don't think it's the Lois relationship fault. I think Lois has done so much.
You might be right.
I think Lois has done so much fucking better in this movie. The idea that Lois, a reporter, doesn't figure out and, like, doesn't seem curious to figure out who Superman is in a lot of Superman media pisses me off. It really diminishes her to a damsel in distress.
We just watched Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, and it felt like to us that Jurassic World was a well done, modernized version of basically the same story.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the same case with Man of Steel, where I feel like it's realistic that, yeah, Lois would kind of cross paths with him because she's investigating him. I felt like it was more realistic that he would be a recluse at first because of the way he was ostracized as a kid.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the movie, that is when he's like, that's when he realizes, no, hide in plain sight. Like, I need a day job to stay in one spot. So like in the next movies, he's at the planet, but...
Yeah, like when he gets
I like
the planet
for now
job.
he works abroad.
Yeah. When he gets the planet job, it's to help like cover up.
That he's super. It's the mask.
Yeah.
Clark Kent is the mask, and he always has been.
Well, I mean, like as a reporter or whatever. That's like his alibi, basically.
Right.
I also liked the minor change of in the first Superman, Clark's adoptive father dies of like a heart attack. And Clark basically has to deal with loss. But in this one, because he dies from a tornado, Clark has to cope with the fact that he could have saved him. But his dad didn't want him to.
Dude.
And I thought that was a little bit more...
Mason.
I don't know, it just added something. Rather than being like, oh yeah, the character lost their father. Like, that's... You know.
I'm gonna get into my Superman rant now.
Do it.
Okay. First thing. Because Mason, what you said... Okay. There's a couple things I like in this movie. Zack Snyder... Visually great. The color grading is not good for Superman, but it looks good. This is a good-looking movie. Like, you can't... That's just a fact, right? The color grading's too dark for Superman. We all know that. But, you know, other than, like, preference and, like, character, it looks great. Zack Snyder is not a fucking good writer, and he does not understand what is good or important or, like... interesting about Superman. Because Mason, you and I have talked about this on the pod. You don't like Superman because he's a god, basically. He's invulnerable. There's no real threat to his person, right? He doesn't...
and then it felt like the writers of Superman to me realized that and were like, we need something to make him weak. Let's do a rock from his planet. A rock. So... that works.
And that's all true. And if you don't like Superman, I'm not mad at you. But this is the core tenets of what... Here's the core tenets of what makes Superman interesting. Okay? Superman is a god, right? But the thing that makes him interesting is that he is a symbol of hope and being good for the reason of being good and no other reason. Not for accolades, not because people like you, not because people are going to give you gifts or you're going to be rich and famous. He is what everyone should strive to be, which is just doing things to make people happy and always doing things to make people happy and to keep people safe and to keep the world safe. He is hope. Superman is the hope for a better tomorrow. That's why his city Metropolis is called the City of Tomorrow in the comics. That's why he always has a smile on his face that's why he is in these bright colors and he has underwear on the outside. Because he's not a scary creature of the night like Batman, and he's not a vengeful assassin. He is a man who could rule the planet with a snap of his goddamn fingers, who chooses to see the best in people and to push hope and prosperity and life. Right? That's Superman. In Man of Steel, they kind of have that. Like the S stands for hope, right? They have that, but the origin of Superman and how he's raised by the Kents is the reason he has that hope. And you get that in the 70s version. In the 70s version, Pa Kent doesn't let him try out for sports, right? And it's not to hide his identity. The reason he gives is he goes, you could do better than that. You could be more than just, like, the best athlete in the world. You are more than that. You could be a symbol for people, right? He keeps him a secret because of his safety, right? But that's not the reason that Clark doesn't do all these things. The reason Pa Kent gives him in most media and in the comics and in the 70s one, where he does fill the role of being a hopeful, like being the symbol of hope more, is because Pa Kent and Ma Kent raised him to love people and to love the world, not to fear it.
What I understand of like the appeal of Superman, or like as a character, is that he is a god that is raised human. Like for all intents and purposes, he is a human being who just happens to have these powers and chooses to use them for good. and like
I don't even
think
that's.
You know?
I don't think he's human. Because he doesn't act like he's better. He's more good than a person would be. He is the ideal of a good man, which is rare. I'm a little more nihilistic, which is actually why I like Superman so much, because he gives hope. But my problem with this movie is Pa Kent and how he really raises Clark in this movie to hate the world and to be afraid of it. Like, the point of Pa Kent's death being a heart attack is to teach Superman that he can't save everyone. The point of Pa Kent's death in, like, all other fiction being a heart attack is because he's actually not a god. He's just the closest you can get. Like, he can save anybody from a falling building, from fire, from whatever. But he couldn't save his own dad because his dad had a heart problem. And he can't fix that, right? His death in this movie is needless. Clark could have saved him. And he chooses not to let Clark save him. And Clark actively chooses not to save somebody because he's afraid of being discovered and because Pa Kent is afraid of him being discovered. Which is teaching Clark to fear humanity and to fear the world and not see the best in it and not see the hope in it. Which is why when he becomes, like, when they try to do the symbol for hope at the end, it doesn't land because you're like, he didn't think that. Like, he got to the age of 33 before he decided to start helping people.
But, like, he, like, also is helping people, like, in the opening sequence when he's on the Fisher boat. Like, he saves
but he's
people
not
and then runs away.
It seems like he's hopping around from place to place to remain anonymous and finding odd jobs. And then once something, like, happens near him where he has to intervene to save some people, he then dips, leaves town, finds another place to keep the anonymity.
Yeah. Right, which I have no problem. My problem is literally the fear. Like, he's not a symbol for hope in this movie. He's a symbol for, like he only shows up when Zod shows up because he has to be public now.
The movie tries to tell you that that's his arc, but it doesn't. That's not what happens in the movie. Like, you don't see him grow. He also
gets the most life lessons about being hopeful and trusting humanity from his alien dad. His alien dad is more hopeful than Pa Kent, which is almost always reversed, and it's almost always reversed for a good reason. Getting the human, like, him being human should come from his human parents. Him being a god should come from his alien parents. You know what I mean? Jor-El, when he shows up as the hologram, is like, you need to protect Earth. You can be Earth's defender. I don't know what the fuck you've been doing, but, like, put on this fucking suit and go save some people. And Pa Kent is like, hey, why'd you save that bus? What are you doing saving that bus full of children? Maybe you should have let him die. You know, that's a line in this movie. Clark goes, what, am I supposed to let them all die? And Pa Kent goes, maybe. Like, that's not Pa Kent. And that's not Superman. Right? I'm fine with changes. I think it's stupid when people complain about changes to, like, superficial elements of a character. But when you take the core of a character, and the core of Superman's character is hope, you kind of fuck it up. And also, there's a reason for this. Superman and Superman writers go through these arcs. It's an up and down of Superman being a gritty badass or a beacon of hope and prosperity. And it's when the world is doing pretty okay, he's a gritty, angry jerk-off. Like, in the 90s, he was a gritty, angry jerk-off. And in this movie, he's a gritty, angry jerk-off. And then when the world is shit, when the world is, like, going through a tough time, like now, and we've seen the comics reflect this, and the new Superman movie that's coming out probably will reflect this, he becomes that symbol of hope. He's nicer. He's saving cats out of trees. He's doing all the things. Because the world needs a hopeful symbol. And I hate the dip. I hate the dip into gritty. I hate it. I never like it. I'm talking to you, Black Suit Superman, by the way.
I feel like characters like Homelander who have shown up recently, where it's like all powerful evil Superman, basically. Like, I feel like there's a consensus online that they like exist like as like a critique of Superman, or like a response of like, this is more interesting than Superman. But I feel like it kind of complements it well, of like, this is Homelander. I'm assuming you guys have seen at least like a season or two of The Boys. Like,
Yep.
He is Superman, but he was raised in a lab with no parents and just kind of tested on. And the only thing that's keeping him from snapping and eviscerating humankind is just capitalism. And it's just it complements Superman because he's got grassroots in Smallville, Kansas, and went to high school and had, for all intents and purposes, like a normal childhood. Without, like, he got bullied, I guess, but like, people get bullied. Like, that's not like a thing that only happens to aliens, you know? I just feel like that's where a lot of people's like disinterest in Superman is. And I feel like I fell into that category a while ago. And I don't know. I'm very excited for the new Superman movie. This movie, I never liked it really as a kid, and I'm not crazy about it now. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not Batman v Superman. It's not the Justice League or whatever. Like, there's worse DC Universe movies than this one. It's not horrible, I guess, was my conclusion to this movie. Is it's solid, and I think it kind of, it's fun because it's kind of different and edgy and like does things differently than what I would expect a Superman thing to do. And I kind of disagree with them, but as its own thing, I don't think it's bad as a whole.
I agree. I think it's a solid movie. I just think Zack Snyder is a bad writer.
He is a very bad writer. I don't like the movies he writes.
No. He's not. He doesn't understand character, and that's my point. Also, in part of him being bullied, and the reason he's such a symbol of hope is that he's always bullied because he's different, but he rises above it and he saves his bully. And the problem, my main problem I have with it, is that he does that arc, but he does it because he's Jesus, not because he was taught to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He does save his bully in this, and that bully becomes his lifelong friend and confidant of his powers, basically. And Pa Kent, who is supposed to be the guy who teaches him all these lessons and teaches the audience those lessons, because that's what a comic book is. It's a myth for kids to learn a lesson. That's what a fucking superhero movie is. That's what a comic book is. It is a simple story with a simple message, and Superman's message is hope, and the world will be better if you are better. In order to have a good, kind, peaceful world, you need to be hopeful and kind and peaceful and stick up for people less powerful and less privileged than yourself. That's Superman. That's what he represents. And in this, the guy who's supposed to teach that lesson goes, what if you buried your head in the sand and let a bunch of children drown even though you could save them? That's my biggest problem with this, is that Zack Snyder seems intent on putting a Jesus in every one of his fucking movies, and Superman as Jesus sucks. It's a shitty, bad allegory that ruins the character, in my opinion. But yeah, that's it. Rant
Mason,
over.
now say that again, that you like that change, huh? Say it to Carter's face, huh?
He doesn't like Superman, and he doesn't read Superman comics. That's a fine change to like if you don't like Superman. That wasn't a dig at Mason. That was a dig at...
Yeah.
That was a dig at how they've ruined Superman for a generation of kids. I know you were kidding, but I also want to explain this. Sorry, Mason. But that was a critique of that's what Superman should have been, and it was. And then for our generation, and I think it fucking shows in how the majority of our generation views things. Like, they just keep, like, he's not. That's not interesting. Like, Hope isn't interesting. And that's what this movie proposed. And it's not wrong to like that if you don't like Superman. But anyway. Rant over. Fucking fuck you, DC and Warner Brothers. Sorry. So Mason, what else did you like or not like about this movie?
Well, I like that he started as a recluse and then became a reporter by the end. And then I liked that he killed Zod in the end, because a lot of hero movies don't do that. And because the villain wasn't going to stop and civilians were at stake, Superman had to kill him.
You just got to put some fuckers down sometimes.
I don't know. Part of me at the same time, this is nitpicky, but if he's strong enough to just break his neck, he could have just, like, you know, moved his head that was directing the laser eyes elsewhere.
I think that that was a common critique of the movie when it came out, but I think the overall point was that they've been fighting for, you know, the entire third act of this movie, that he's not going to stop trying to kill people. And so he has to, you know, do something. Yeah.
That was his new single-minded
goal. People really
goal.
hated that, though.
See, that was what I was saying. That was their critique. They were like, Superman wouldn't kill. And I'm like, yeah, he would. Yes, he fucking would. He does all the time. Not all the time. He would rather not. But, like, if this guy isn't going to stop and he can't be contained, he's got to go. Because he's a threat to people. Which is fine. Sorry. This movie makes me angry.
Oh, in the beginning, when Gladiator and his wife are getting ready to send Superman off, I thought it was such funny mom and dad, like, opposite takes about sending their child to another planet. Because the mom was like, he'll be treated like an outcast. And then the dad was like, he'll be treated like a god.
And he's treated as both.
True.
Yep. They were both right, which is cool.
It's cool.
I actually liked all the Krypton stuff. I like the way Krypton looks in this movie. And I like Zod doing a coup. I like Zod and Jor-El having the same opinion, but their temperament leading them to different outcomes. You know what I mean?
It felt like all the Krypton stuff was almost done kind of beat for beat the same. It just felt like more of the stuff happened off camera in the first one. Like, they didn't focus on what was actually happening on Krypton, like the politics and, like, the characters of Jor-El and Zod. Also, why the fuck are they calling him L?
Who? Jor-El?
That's his last name.
Do they do that?
That's his last name.
Yeah.
It's the House of El. It's the same as, like, calling someone Stark. He's from the House of El, which is a scientist house, and Zod is from the House of Zod, which is a warrior house. That's their surname.
What's Zod's first name?
General. I don't actually know. I don't know.
Specific Zod.
There have been other Zods, and they get names, but I don't know what General Zod's first name is.
This guy's just kind of, you know, like a General Zod kind of guy.
You know, he's your average Zod. Oh, so like a fucking raging
just
freak.
Just a Zod in general.
That's how you describe people. That's how Kryptonians describe people when they're like by the water cooler gossiping. They're like, oh, so what's the new guy like?
This dude's a total fucking Zod.
Dude is a Zod for sure. And you're like, oh, fuck. No.
It's like how some people just, he's such a Capricorn. Except that it's when you want to do like a genocide.
I think it's closer to being like, he's a libertarian. Ugh. Yuck. Jesus. Fuck. I'm gonna avoid that dude at all costs. Jesus.
God, you know what part I fucking hated? This is like some Zack Snyder ass writing right here. The scene where it's a flashback to when Clark is getting his X-ray vision for the first time, and he freaks out, and he's like hearing a bunch of shit, so he runs into the closet, like the janitor's closet at his elementary school, and the teacher like goes and follows him out, which is like one thing, like that's fine.
That's normal.
Find the kid, but then
I know
the
where you're going
entire
with this.
class comes with her, and they all stake out this dude who's obviously very distressed about something. Like,
and the teacher's so mad at him.
if that was my kid, I would be pissed off. Like, you're just making it worse. I can't, like, the teacher's first instinct has got to be, I need to get this kid away from all the other kids and then see what's wrong. Instead of just come back to class now. Everyone else is watching you. You're weird. Like, that's like the most asshole teacher move I think I've seen.
Really?
That does remind me though, just in terms of like improved computer animation and CGI, the way they can portray Superman's X-ray vision and his heightened senses being overwhelming as a child, I think are a lot more impactful, of course.
That was really great.
X-ray vision looks fucking crazy.
It was.
Looks like I'm watching someone get shot in vats.
If you could see their skull, it'd freak you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everybody's a weird monster. Like that. I thought that was done really well. I agree. The teacher's reaction is crazy, but also I will say this is my other point about the rant. I think it ruins all the things I said. I think ruin the characterization of Superman, like his Jesus stuff and Pa Kent being mostly an asshole. Also, though, if you look at the opinions and polling numbers and voting patterns and, general treatment that happens in the state of Kansas, I think most of this is more realistic than a classic Superman story, especially the teacher. Little dig on Kansas. If you're from Kansas, I've never been, but I don't like your state. Get some fucking hills in you. Get some fucking topography in you, Kansas. Flat Earth mother.
Kansas.
Dude, we do need to terraform Kansas. You step foot in Kansas, you can see the other side of the state, bro. Like, fuck that.
The city that's named for your state isn't even in your state.
It's mostly in another state.
I mean, it is, but there's two of them.
There's two. There's one, and it's on the border, and it's mostly in Missouri.
Missouri owns your fucking ass.
I think they're technically two separate cities.
That's even more stupid. They're two separate cities that are contiguous. This is what I'm hearing right now?
I thought so. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, either way, both versions, Kansas, get your fucking shit together. Like, are you serious? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're technically two separate entities.
Dude.
With two separate mayors.
What did you just fucking say to me?
They have different mayors.
What do the mayors?
States.
If they have a disagreement, do the mayors have to box on like the border on the fucking dividing line?
You can't step over the line.
DMZ in Kansas City.
Is there a Kansas City DMZ? Someone in Kansas is like, I want to go to a Royals game. Better.
They gotta fucking wait for the right moment and just book it.
Just book it across the DMZ. 1,800 people die getting shot in the Kansas City DMZ a year just trying to go to Royals games. That's a stat. That's a real stat. Sorry, 1,800, more like the entire population of Kansas. Boom.
A further 600 are shot every year at Royals games.
At Royals games. But that's just because everybody in Kansas and Missouri has a gun.
Open carry, baby.
Open carry.
Royals.
That's what happens when you walk into. That's what happens when you walk into a Royals stadium and you're not wearing a Trump hat. Is they shoot you on sight.
Bada bing.
Bada bing. Fuck you, Kansas. This is real. You know what? I think I like Kansas. I genuinely think I like Kansas as much as I like England. And I've been to one of those places. The answer's England. Why would you ever go to Kansas?
Both of those takes standalone are fine. Those conjoined takes makes me feel like it's targeted towards an individual.
He is not a small part of why I don't like Kansas.
Carter and I mutually grew up with a man who hails from Britain originally, but grew up in Kansas.
And I don't know how to tell you this. He's a nice guy. I want to say this first and foremost. He's a nice guy.
Great guy.
He's the most annoying Kansas City Chiefs fan possibly in existence. And Mason, you didn't follow football, right? So you didn't have to deal with that as much. But holy shit. Anyway.
It's the new dynasty.
Ugh. Mason, shut up. Mason, shut the fuck up. They literally just fired 3 refs because they were too biased towards the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a real thing the NFL just did.
I didn't even hear about that. That's crazy.
Anyway, yeah. Real hate of Kansas. Fuck Kansas.
I really like the scene where Zod is doing the transmission on the TVs. I thought that was so sick. And I think it's
really good.
It looks really cool and like foreboding that it's like all like black and white weird staticky shit, but that's definitely just because he couldn't like figure out how to like show his face, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like was his original plan just like him sit in front of a webcam like saying all this shit? I mean that would still work, I guess, but
I mean I would be pretty
Zoom call.
I would be pretty scared if my phone, my iPad, and all the TVs around me, like if all the lights went out
if and they all just started showing me Michael Shannon.
Well, it's not Michael Shannon because he's wearing his skull spacesuit, which is a pretty intimidating spacesuit.
Yeah.
If some dude with a skull mask was like, there's a fucking alien amongst you, and if you don't give him up, I know you don't know him, but if you don't give up this alien, I'm gonna fuck your shit up. I'd be like, who shit my pants? Who did that? That would be my genuine reaction. Abel's too cool for that shit, though. Abel would be like, you couldn't even figure out the broadcast correctly, idiot.
Yeah, what are you, like, from another fucking planet or something?
Abel would take to Reddit so fast to flame this guy. So fast.
Look at this fucking idiot.
r/aliens. Dude, this fucking alien's a moron.
Moron.
Mason, what would you say on Reddit about Zod?
Nothing.
You're not a frequent Reddit poster?
I can't comment where you're banned.
Oof.
Are you banned from the entirety of Reddit?
Yeah.
Really?
He got too toxic.
Because moderators are fucking power hungry tyrants.
This is a sore subject. We can stop talking about it.
Moving on.
Should we get into quotes? Do we have more things we want to say?
I think I am good. I'm good. Let's do quotes. Mason, you got a quote?
I do. I really liked this quote, and it felt like one of the only little glimmers of humor scattered throughout this movie. There wasn't much. But at the end, the colonel in the military is kind of questioning Superman in regards to how can we expect you to look out for our best interests and keep us safe? Like, how do we know you won't turn on us? And Superman responds with, I grew up in Kansas, Colonel. About as American as it gets.
Disagree.
It's way better that I dropped that after Carter's rant.
It is. No, that's good. That's good. Because disagree. Because I don't know how to tell you this. 1 out of every 8 Americans is a Californian. That's as American as it gets, motherfuckers. Anyway.
I'm going to argue, not in terms of population, but like, you can't get... You can a little bit, but you can't get quite more centrally located in the continental United States than Kansas.
You can't.
They're in
You're
the
right.
heart. They're in the heart.
You're right. They are in the heartland, you know. Except hearts have like curvature and like, you know, like non-smooth edges. And Kansas, as I've said,
I think it's indicative that Kansas being the heart of the United States, it does make sense because they've got fields growing food there.
right,
So
but
America's heart is chock full of food.
and corn syrup. They actually grow corn for corn syrup, not for food. California actually.
Perfect.
California grows most of the nation's food. So,
Yeah, get fucked, nation.
fuck you, Middle America.
Hot take, don't get the hype.
We've got
Of
4
Middle
people
America?
and 87 senators. Boo boo boo. Sorry. Abel,
We
what's
have
your
more senators than people.
honestly,
We started coding senators with AI because we're just running out of people.
well, all the senators are from Connecticut. Anyway.
We lost a third of our population in a tractor accident.
I
I didn't really have any good quotes. I liked Michael Shannon's performance a lot as Zod. And there's like a really serious quote where he's talking about, I exist only to protect Krypton. That is the sole purpose for which I was born. And every action I take, no matter how violent or how cruel, is for the greater good of my people. And now, I have no people. I just thought the way he said that was really funny.
I think
And
his performance, I think he's a perfect Zod.
He's
Genuinely.
awesome because he commits so hard to it.
I think he's the perfect Zod. He clearly cares about Krypton, but he's also a raging lunatic, and you can see that. I think he's great.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. The
And-
other quote that I like, oh, you go.
I was just gonna say the writing on Zod is actually good. They got the characterization of Zod perfect, which is even more annoying that they didn't get Superman perfect because those two are great foils. But please continue, Abel.
I mean, it is Snyder writing a, Kryptonian supremacist nationalist figure, so,
True. He loves writing a supremacist nationalist figure, and he's the best at writing.
Huh. I liked when Lois, like Superman's, like, in the news and stuff for the first time. People are like, who the hell is this guy? The aliens are real? Like, Zod is here or whatever? Like, shit's going down. Lois is in her apartment on the phone with Perry, who, by the way, Lawrence Fishburne I thought was great in this movie. He's not in the ton,
Great.
but I like him a lot
Great.
in this movie as that.
Great Perry White.
Yeah. He says, "This is serious, Lois. The FBI is here." And then as he says that, she looks out her window and the FBI are pulling up at the exact same time. And I thought that was very, very funny.
With an
I was
Air
about
Force
to
colonel
get
in tow.
I
Sorry.
started to get so mad when she was running out the back of the building, and because for a second, I hadn't seen this movie in a while. For a second, I was like, the cops did not cover the back alley of the fucking building. And then she gets to the end of the alley and they pull up, and I was like, okay, good. Thank God.
They almost
I-
didn't, though.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Can I tell you guys I have a history fact that's actually related to that. I can't remember the exact number of years, but there was a few decades, I think it was more than 3 decades, before the FBI started surrounding buildings before they went in.
That's crazy.
That's a real thing about the history of the FBI, in case anyone was wondering.
We're a bunch of smart people.
But anyway, basically, what
Only
else?
our nation's most intelligent minds.
Only the greatest,
I
most
think they have a hiring center in
decorated-
Kansas.
only our nation's greatest, most like perfect minds that are also willing to narc on everyone that they know. So the best of the best narcs. Mason, do you have more to say? Sorry, I cut you off. I wanted to say my fun factoid.
Yeah, I'm done with my quotes.
I only have one. And I just thought it was a good line. I thought it was kind of a bar. It really has no thematic purpose. Abel's quote has the most thematic purpose in this whole movie, I think, personally. And it's when Zod is talking to the AI representing Jor-El. And the AI representing Jor-El is like, "This is a genocide." And Zod goes, "Yes, and I'm arguing its merits with a ghost." And I thought that was kind of a bar. Because it shows that he's a psycho, because he's arguing the merits of genocide, and he is having that argument with a robot ghost.
I liked, just to add on to that, I liked during that scene when the AI of Jor-El was talking about how Zod used to be like a good, great man.
Mm-hmm.
And he hit him with the past tense when he was like, "My son will be twice the man you ever were."
Ooh. And ain't that the truth? Are we ready for rating?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so. Mason, you want to kick us off?
Oh, Mason, kick us off.
I'm not able. I second Carter. I think Abel.
Okay, I'll go first.
Because I'm torn between two numbers.
Okay. I kind of summed up my thoughts earlier, but I'll just say them again. I used to really not like this movie. I still am not like, I'm not like crazy about it, but I don't think it's as bad as I did at one point. It just kind of is mediocre, edgy fan fiction with some cool, lighting and special effects and some action sequences that are kind of fun, but go on for way too long and ultimately just kind of feel like motion capture of a kid playing with toys. That just, I don't know. I feel like it could have been shortened by like 5 or 10 minutes, the whole third act, where they're just destroying Smallville, and they go to Metropolis and just destroy Metropolis. Like, not my favorite stuff. I think it's a fine movie. As a Superman movie, I just prefer the original and the tone that was going for. I think I'm more excited for this new Superman movie because it seems to be it seems to be pursuing the same tone or a similar tone as that original 78 movie. Yeah, this is fine. I don't think I don't see myself rewatching it very much. I mean, I haven't for however many years since it's come out, 12 years. Jeez. Yeah, it's just not for me, but it's a fine watch. I'd give it a 5.
That's an F for everybody listening.
We're not talking about this.
Mason.
Carter, you go.
You're right. Oh, you're right, Carter. I guess 0 through 5 is just what the degree of F that they get. How bad of an F?
It is. Yes.
In terms of that, you're helping me pick which number I'm choosing.
And I figured I would.
I'm going 7.
Yep.
I think in terms of like great storytelling, I don't think it's great. In terms of like visually striking action and like a superhero film, I think it does its job well. I think of all the things he doesn't do well, I think Zack Snyder can do action pretty well.
Agree.
And we covered that. So I think I'll give it a 7. I wouldn't pick up this movie to rewatch on my own, but if someone was like, "Hey, you want to watch Man of Steel?" I wouldn't say no. I'd be like, "Sure."
Okay.
Fair.
This is a thing we didn't talk about, I realized. It's a Hans Zimmer score. It's great. Great score. It's a great score.
John Williams passed it. Hans Zimmer picked it up.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer was like, "Yo, I got you, bro." Here's what I'll say. Gritty fanfic is it's the most accurate, like, summation of what this movie is to Superman that I think I've ever heard. So good job, Abel. Good job. Everybody, round of applause for Abel.
Thank you.
I think this movie if you're looking for a good Superman movie, I think this is a bad movie. I think this does not capture the character of Superman in any way, shape, or form. I think if you're looking for an action movie, like just a run-of-the-mill, like, action superhero movie. I think it's pretty passable. I think it's fine. Honestly, my biggest problem with this is that they fuck up what Superman is and what he means to the world, and it makes it a much worse movie because they're doing a Superman movie. But if they just called this Ultraman, hero of fucking today, I'd be like, this is pretty good.
Hero of fucking today.
I think this is a pretty good fucking movie. I don't like the Jesus metaphor. Snyder, you gotta let go of that, man. We get it, you read the Bible, but, like, you gotta let go of the Jesus metaphors, please. And get a writer. I'm not giving a numerical score. Oh, wait, the spreadsheet.
You don't have to. I just think it's fun.
I'm gonna give it, letter grade-wise, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. That's a D. It's a D+.
I would like to clarify, like, my score. If this was just a random movie that wasn't based on anything preceding it, I would give it like a 6 or a 7. And if it was the only Superman movie to ever exist, I would probably give it like a 3 or a 4. So this is kind of the middle ground, is a 5, where it's like, this is not your only Superman media, so you can get a more accurate depiction elsewhere, but as it stands as a movie, it's whatever.
Okay.
Have we been watching anything lately that we want to talk about?
Fuck no.
Not really.
I have not consumed anything.
Wait, have I consumed anything?
This movie.
Yeah, this movie. No, I haven't. Hey, Abel, do we have any fucking emails this week?
No.
All right. Just like last week, if you're a dark practitioner, email in. We want to hear from you. If you're from Kansas,
tell us your secrets.
Tell us your witchy secrets. If you're from Kansas or England, not the UK, up the Raw and the Scots. Scotland, vote for independence already. What are you fucking doing? In Wales, I don't know enough about you, so, but you're better than England.
If you're from Kansas, email us some fighting words.
Yeah. If you're from Kansas or you're from England, fucking email in. I will fuck you up in an email war, bro. Anyway, that's it.
Next week, we're watching 2005's Tim Story's it's just Fantastic Four. There's no the. That's the new one. It's the Fantastic Four. And we'll be watching that before the new one comes out. And by the time that you're watching this, we might have already seen the new Superman movie. So we'll probably talk about that. Are you guys planning on seeing it?
I am.
I might not see it right away. I'm a little busy that week, but I'd love to check it out. It looks awesome.
Warning for the listeners, that What You're Up To segment is going to be so long. That's going to be a long What You Up To segment that week.
You're dating the podcast.
I'm dating the podcast. Consider it dated. Mason, read the date out loud. What's the date today?
June 25th.
June 25th. It's 7:42 p.m. West Coast time.
What? Oh, Jesus. My computer's off.
What time is it
9
on
minutes.
What time is your
9
computer
minutes?
7:33.
That's just unhelpful. That's not even... That's hilarious.
Why have I been so early to things lately? Yeah. Right. Follow us on things. Rate us on Spotify. Download our apps. Send us stuff, especially if you're from Kansas. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
See you next week.
See ya.
Fuck Kansas.